CET, did his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. He was working as the Vice President Marketing of United Breweries. Then he took over as the Group Product in charge of Nestle, and then the Media Director at Ulka before the entrepreneurial bug hit him. And then he started market intelligence, a data analytics firm, when data analytics as a topic had not even evolved. So it is the dreamer in him which actually made him get into data analytics, which is even today a very hot topic. And he cashed it out, he moved on, and he is living his role as a chief dreamer. In between, he ventured into another venture. That is, he started Zamba Dogs, which is basically an Airbnb platform for dogs for the pet parents who are traveling. So that is another venture he got into, and that got stuck up to COVID, and he started dreaming again. We don't know what is going to come. And such a person, talking about the mistakes he has committed, when we, the lesser mortals, refuse to accept the mistakes, because to accept a mistake, you need two things. One is humility, and another is you have to have a large heart. Otherwise, basically, everybody tries to ratify, everybody tries to justify, and it is slightly difficult to accept that you have done a mistake in life. And basically, he is going to touch upon the mistakes, because that will at least benefit the younger crowd, whoever we are seeing here. And talking about mistakes, I have absolutely no clue what mistakes he's going to talk about, whether he sold out early or whether he got less money than what he deserved, because he has not told anybody how much he has made by selling the company. Now, he took all the trouble of flying into Delhi to address us, and he's flying back tomorrow. And so, welcome, Roy. I welcome him to this meeting, and I'm sure that this will be a great lesson to everybody, not only to youngsters, but even to the senior crowd, because as I said, mistakes can always be a learning process for everybody. I also take this opportunity to welcome all the past presidents, and many past presidents are there, all the past presidents, fellow members of the MC, members, students, and all guests who have logged in and who are physically present here. Thank you very much. I would now request the president to give the presidential address. Thank you very much.
Good evening, all. Chief guest, and Honorary Secretary, past presidents, and team members. We just concluded our convention. I hope all of you have enjoyed the convention. Now today is an interesting topic. Our program chair always bring the topic success stories. We had several success, almost 12 success stories. So after the convention, we just assembled what went wrong and all. Then he said we will bring a person. He will teach you how to do how to learn from the mistakes. So that this is actually the part of which he agreed, and he always been going to all of us in the MC. All of you are not learning from your previous mistakes. So we have a wonderful habit of covering up all the mistakes. I am very we have several projects. If project is successful, then it will be a fantastic. We create a lot of hype along with that. Then we suppress all under the carpet. We will put all the mistakes and all those things. When BNP Paribas took stake in initially, all the project, after the project, there was a meeting called lessons learned meeting. So that was an interesting internal criticism and all what went wrong, how to learn from the mistakes, etc. That was my first learning. Otherwise, we used to cover up all the mistakes and only good thing will highlight. So this is an interesting story. In fact, all of us normally do a lot of mistakes every day. And then we don't, it is not a problem. Actually, it is something part of it. And I don't think right things will happen only from the right side. It will always happen from the failures also. So therefore, and we are seeing that actually a lot of apologetic statement after a few years or after some time. Oh, I made a mistake. By that time, all the wrong things must have done. This is normally is internal part of, and towards the end of life, very many people actually say, "Oh, I could have done this." That is what the human nature is. But in business, it is very important. Normally, we learn from the mistake, we correct ourselves, fine tune. See, I am also, I started my career as a programmer, computer programmer. There it is right from the beginning something called a debugging. So debugging is actually correcting our mistakes. I started as a COBOL programmer. There it was a hell lot of debugging happened at that time. So this is similarly in all projects in our life, in our processes, we are doing mistakes and we are correcting ourselves. But at the same time, how to learn from that mistake, don't repeat the mistake again. Something is very important. I am sure that we learn a lot of many things from a very knowledgeable, excellent person. Already he actually little bit of knowledge we already obtained. I am sure that we will give more emphasis on this particular topic. Thank you very much. And we will have a few more things. I think Secretary will announce on March 7th program and a couple of other programs. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Okay, let me invite our speakers.
Thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. There's such a big crowd. I didn't expect this is going to be so big. Yeah. Talking about the topic, which is learning from mistakes. I'm a firm believer that you learn the most from your mistakes. For example, even when my kids prepare for their various entrance exams and all, even now kids come to me for advice, all of them. One thing I tell them is you have to do a lot of practice tests and analyze your mistakes. That's where the maximum learning is going to come from. Everyone makes mistakes. The trick is not repeating them. Okay, so even when you came to the company, okay, I reflect and say, okay, look, what are the mistakes I made and what did I learn from them? Not that I can do anything about it right now, or maybe in the future when I can do that. But I think there was a lot of learning for, and some of them are looking mistakes and you might not. So before I start this, just to give you a quick summary of the journey of my entrepreneurial path. So right from the beginning, I knew one day I will become an entrepreneur. So the first opportunity came almost immediately after I graduated from IIM. So one of my friends, first cousin was the tourism secretary. So he said, why don't you start a heritage tourism? This is, I'm talking about 1992. Honestly, at that time, I didn't have the guts. I thought, okay, look, after doing all this, now just starting a business, what's the point of that? But you can imagine what it would have been if I had started a business in heritage tourism in 1992. Okay, you understand, that's okay. In the meantime, after a few years, my friend started a business. He sold it. It was actually the predecessor of Facebook or LinkedIn. It was called where he sold it for $130 million in 1999. Okay, so by that time, my entrepreneurial bug was biting me again. And I had a great opportunity. In year 2000, during the dot-com boom days, McKinsey launched a competition called Venture 2000. So they had invited a lot of people to come and participate. So we made a small team and put up, that time I had just moved from FCB advertising to Nestle. Uh, so we put up a proposal of creating a one-stop shop for advertising. So from the thousands of proposals they got, they shortlisted 155, and finally we were selected as one of the teams to be put up for funding. And that is the time when I got into Nestle, and Nestle was my dream job for the campus. And unfortunately, the year I graduated was a recession year. Nestle hadn't come, and I got that opportunity after 9 years. And I was not willing to give up so easily, so I chickened out actually. So I continued with Nestle, and slowly the bug again started biting me after almost 6 years. And those days, so first time I went to someone with a proposal saying that, you know, a mobile TV news station, like, so the VC was not interested. So he said, okay, look, but how about putting up TV screens in the malls and all in China? It was a big business. So coming to the media, I didn't think it was very, very attractive. In India, the outdoor really hadn't taken off as much. And I think it was the same advice. I didn't get into it, or he didn't support the company which he was planning to support. But he was very keen on me. Those days, it was not fashionable to be an entrepreneur. It is fashionable to be an entrepreneur. Okay, so those days, coming from a safe job like a Nestle to come into entrepreneurship was not easy. So I had some inkling, so I was a good target for the VCs to bounce off things and get into entrepreneurship. So he suggested another one, which was two young Stanford graduates that thought of a company called Yari. Yari is the Facebook Indian version of Facebook. I thought it was a good idea initially. I spoke to them, we had progressed quite a bit. Then I thought, you know, how does anyone stop? What is the advantage Yari is giving versus Facebook? And today it's a platform. You have friends all over the world. You just don't want to connect with people. So finally I gave it a pass. And this VC was very, very insistent. He wanted me to start something. So he said, I will fund you. Why don't you start an e-commerce company? And that's before the content started. I was not sold on it. I thought, oh, talking here is not yet. So again, I gave it a pass. And around the same time, I moved to UB. And that's when the whole idea of analytics came. So when I read about it, I thought, it's a fantastic opportunity. First, I was very, very keen student of consumer behavior, consumer insights, and everything. So it fitted into my interest. And then when I looked at the opportunity, see, if you look at the IT revolution, a lot has been done as far as software is concerned, a lot has been done as far as hardware is concerned. But along with that, what happens? A lot of data has been generated. So has it been harnessed well? Not really. Even within Nestle itself, when I was doing analysis in Excel, what I could do in Excel, if someone didn't have the interest, they would do it. So that's the kind of gap that was quite a great opportunity. Then I thought, as far as India is concerned, no shortage of talent as far as the computer skills or mathematical skills are concerned. And that's because advantage India has. They have arbitrage if you compare it to the US. So I thought it's a great idea. And the icing on top was like, unlike most of the KPOs or BPOs, you had to work night shifts or something like that. It didn't happen. So then I spoke to a friend of mine in the US. He was at that time heading consumer insights for LinkedIn. So he said, hey, Royce, you know what? They used to call me Royce. So you know what? I was thinking of the same thing. And you know what? There is a friend of mine also who was thinking of the same thing. And this friend at that time had just shifted from the US. He was with Citigroup, heading their analytics here. So I met with this friend. I thought fantastic guy. He's a hardcore guy as far as data analytics is concerned. He had worked in Amex in the US. He's an IT graduate, MBA from Stern School and all those things. And solid background in analytics and in banking. And I thought fantastic fit. Okay, so he knows analytics, he knows banking, and he knows the US market. And here I know I'm coming from the traditional consumer goods marketing. And I know the society, I know what people do with them. So I thought it's a great partner. And temperamentally also, we were like, okay, I am the more intelligent one and he's the cool, solid guy. So I thought this is a great fit. So we thought, okay, anyway, that's good. So the opportunity is there. Everyone was very, very convinced there was opportunity from the right partners. Then I started bouncing on the idea with people. I won't even call it. The first person I asked is my best friend who I sold this company for whatever. So I said, hey, I'm putting $300,000. That's a large money. That's a large sum of money. That was good enough to start a business. Okay, fine, that's good. So that is a complete reassurance that this idea is going to fly. But then I started asking others also about ideas. So one of the persons I went to was my boss in HCD. Is it a great idea? How much can I put in? First question. Then I went to closer coaching. He was my closer also. I think most of you would know closer coaching. He also asked the same question. A great idea. How much can I put in? So I didn't have to raise money. The money came my way. Anyone who I asked, what do you think of the idea? Or even a casual meeting, I went, one of the deals I had to close for UB, I went and met the head of MBTV sales. He said, hey, how much can I put in? So the question was, how much can I put in? All good till now. Now comes the mistake. So they're all very good with money. I thought I didn't need so much money. I took only half of one. So that's the first mistake. So, you'll see how it impacted me at a later stage. Okay, so I took only half the money, whatever was. Today, when I look back, I had almost committed of $500,000. But I hadn't even registered the company. I had a commitment of almost $500,000 from various people. That okay, one I was very, very, very happy because I had so much of credibility. That's why people were putting money. That was on one side. But on the other hand, yeah, I was foolish not to take that money. So that was the first mistake, and it had an impact at the late stages. The second mistake I made was actually when we took the money, we started. Then this partner in the US, he said, I will. So what we had decided is that we will take a cut of two-third cut of the salary. So whatever it was, we take only one-third of the salary. So my friend in the US was earning almost $500,000. So for him, that was a little too much. So he said, to stabilize and then we'll join. Actually, that was a bad order. So if we had, the market was the US. We needed one of the partners in the US. We should have insisted that join at that point in time. We thought we'll manage. Both my partner's name was Anane. So but both Anane and I thought we'll manage. I'm not saying we didn't do a good job, we did a good job, but it would have been much bigger if this guy had joined because he was working in the US market. He was working as an analytics director with Wrigley's and he had contacts all over the place and he's based in the US. That would have been a completely different. The next thing is I spoke to people when I spoke to people, everyone was asking me, what is going to be your differentiator? Are you going to focus on something? I said, no, we will look, I come from consumer goods, and I come from banking, so we are going to focus both these areas. And if you ask me what is the focus area, it's consumer insights, consumer marketing, that's a focus. So one of them told me that, okay, look, that's not good enough, you have to sharpen it. So I said, okay, look, I will do it along the way. That's another mistake. See, what happens is, if say a company which is having a revenue of 10 million, say, dollars, which is a generalist, versus a specialist of say half the size. The specialist of half the size is much more valuable than the other one. So if you started right from the beginning, focusing on a specific area, initially would have been tougher, but as you go forward, one, it's easier to scale up because everything is focused on one area. Whether it is your talent pool, whether it's the market you're investing, everything, you're thinking only that. So both from a scale-up perspective, as well as from a planning perspective, it's much better to have a focus. So that's another thing which I missed. Okay, so that's misses during the starting point. and we started straight into the layman crisis. Okay, so we had a business with a couple of people already signed up for a mortgage lead generation business in the US. But as before we even registered, that company collapsed, Lehman Brothers collapsed, the whole US was like down. And then I made the next mistake. So the first part is before the company started the mistakes, what I made. And now I'll talk about the mistakes that I made during the journey. Okay, so the first mistake I made was uh, I went into a shell, saying that look, we were a little more careful about money because there was no business coming. But actually, there was a time to start. That's biggest learning. Like, okay, look, there was a huge lead time from the time you start selling to actually realizing the revenue. So actually the time to sell is during a downturn. Okay, because after the downturn there will be opening up. So if you are selling at that time, at least by the time it opens up, you are there. Okay, if you wait for the time to open up and then you start selling, then the lead time again takes a long time. To have a pipeline and then do a pilot and then convince them to convert, it takes at least from start to actually realizing your business, it takes at least 6 to 9 months. If things go well, okay, if you have something ready, otherwise it takes much longer. So that's the other mistake which we made. And actually my investors said, okay, look, hey, we give you money for spending, not to sit on it. so, and actually what happens? When you're not spending in sales, when you're not spending in sales, you're burning the money and you're not getting anything. Okay, so we had very, very small couple of businesses and we were just spending on that. So there it is. I wish it thanks to that. Anyway, we recovered all from there on, started doing pretty well, but still there was no focus. We were doing everything and anything that came our way. And we were looking at what to focus on. See, the problem is when you're getting business from everywhere, we don't have the guts to give up something and say, look, let's focus only on this. So that never happened. And there were lots of opportunities also which came. One of the big opportunities that came, probably a couple of years later, was the whole area of digital analytics. I didn't take it up because again, it's too early. I was not looking forward, saying that this is going to be a big business, so why don't we invest in it? I didn't do it. That's another one. And the second was the whole area of using technology. Now, if you look at the analytics, the really good companies which are into analytics, there was a huge technology intervention. So I didn't look at it from a technology perspective because my thought was, if there is a technology intervention, suddenly I am competing with the technology. And the kind of monies we get are very, very different. So if for a typical analytics company, for offshore work, if thought about $40 an hour, the tech companies would get about $15, $20. So I was worried about that. Okay, the moment I put some tech intervention, my margins will go down and all. But from a futuristic perspective, if I had invested into technology or automating a lot of analytics, actually it would have been much better as a business and would have been much more value. So that's the other mistake. I was very, very firm. I was sort of this whole thing. Okay, look, India has talent in plenty, and it's labor arbitrage, which works better. Not that it has not worked for companies. Most of the big companies, like let's say Infosys or whether it's a Wipro, all of them are successful, or even within the analytics, whether you talk about a music, even all of them are unicorns. All of them worked on labor arbitrage. But this was the other opportunity which could be tapped. I missed that. Now comes to the other part, which is again, when we were selling analytics, one of the things which we are selling was cross-sell, upsell, the whole customer life cycle map. And the whole principle is very, very simple. Okay, look, it's much easier to grow an existing customer than to acquire a new customer. Unfortunately, I didn't practice that for my own business. So we had some marquee clients with us. Like, we had a LCVO, which is again $1 billion company, US Foods, it was some $20 billion company, we had Johnson and Johnson, and so on and so forth. So while we were trying to look for new sales, I put enough effort into growing this business. I'm not saying that there was no effort at all. There were guys who were managing their account, but actually the kind of effort required was a different one. Actually, I had to have sales guys looking after the existing clients, rather than the guys who were delivering to expand that. So that's the mindset which we made. So that's another mistake. So we invested in sales guys. Again, that's again a big thing. It's very sadly, very difficult to get good sales people. So that's where I'm mistaken. A partner from the US, if he had joined, he would have been leading sales. We missed that. Because hiring a guy for him to come on board, understand our customers, then to generate a pipeline, it's a long process. It doesn't work. Or either I or Anane had to go to the US and do it. And we were very clear, for some reason or personal reasons, we were sure that we were not going. So we were dependent on the partner to come in, to come to the US. So that didn't happen, and we didn't travel enough. Or we traveled enough, but that is not good enough. So let's start on the mining part. Let's start on as well as the technology intervention, and also the new opportunities which came. So I think we have to keep, if you see this, McKinsey openly says you either move up or move up. So they are very clear that if you are not growing in the company, you move up. Either you move up or actually in most companies it's true. They don't say it. Like if you look at any company, if you work and if you're not moving up, you're actually stagnating. So either you continue there as a vegetable, stagnated, or you have to move out. So it's the same with companies also. When you're running a company, okay, if you're not moving up, you're stagnating, which is not good. So that is so we have to look at newer and newer opportunities. We tried many things, but it was not, again, it was all coming from a lack of focus of a specific area. So that is the other mistake which we made while running the company. Now comes the part where we had reached a stage where we knew that we are making good money. We are making from a profitability perspective, like fairly profitable, good bank balance, all those things that they are willing to invest into sales. But getting the right people for sales. Again, wrong decisions, difficult, whatever it is, it's not easy. So we had reached a stage where we said, okay, look, we need some external funding to grow further. So there were people willing to put money, and very good valuation also. And that's around the same time when we got an offer for buying. So my partner and I, we were discussing as to what to do. And then we asked, so one of my friends again said, okay, look, what do you want? You want a success something of that. So that's what everyone wants. So my partner also said, yeah, that's the idea. You want a success under belt. And it's very clear that if we hold on for every 6 months, maybe we will double the valuation because we were growing at a very good rate and whatever. So we said, yeah, so, and both of us, both I and my partner, we were not interested in the money part. That's again a big, seriously. Actually, if there is money, you are not driven. It's very fashionable to say, look, I am not interested in the money. No, it's wrong. Actually, it's foolish, stupid, and very wrong. In the sense, okay, I might not be interested, but my team would have got more money. They would have been interested if I sold at a higher valuation. My investors would have got more money if I had sold at a higher valuation. It's a different thing. They were happy. I gave them 4 times the money in about 6 years. They were very happy. Okay. Whatever they invested, I gave them 4 times the money in 6 years. So that's very good for them. But if it was 20 times, they would be So I had a responsibility. Actually, that's something which I really, really feel bad about. I had a responsibility of maximizing the returns on my investment. Instead, I said, four times is good returns. And I asked, and luckily, none of my investors invested in interfered with the business at all. They never asked any questions, nothing at all. So they were happy when I said, okay, look, this is what is happening. And some of the guys who I took less money as well as investment. Okay, I just lost 10 lakhs because you took only less money from me. So that's another learning. So when people are willing to invest again, I'm going back. When people are willing to invest, they're making a calculated risk. So when I took less money, I didn't do them a favor actually. They lost money because I invested. Uh, that's the first. So we decided, look, we will take some. So the mistake is that we didn't go it further. We were not interested in money. Not a good idea at all. Because that's the biggest driver. If you are interested, if you are chasing money, you know the numbers. It's much more tangible. Otherwise, okay, is it a success? It's a success. But how big a success is it? Okay, there is no measure for a big success or a small success. It's a success. So you have it under the belt, you can be proud, you build a business, you sold it, you're happy. But what about the investors? What about the team? Whether they would have been happier. Then came the next stage of appointing an investment banker. Okay. So I came with this whole thought saying that no need for an investment banker because I have done enough negotiations. So I used to be one of the largest media buyers when I was investing. And most of the time when the agencies came up with some proposal or something like that, I had to step in and negotiate and get the best out of the media. And all the media guys used to say that we come to you with the expectation, yeah, you negotiate, but things will happen. So I said, okay, look, I'm a good negotiator and I make things happen, so I don't need an investment banker. Big mistake again. Two reasons. Because when I was negotiating media, I knew the business very, very well of how you buy media and what am I looking for. Here, in a way, as far as selling a company is concerned, I haven't done it before. Actually, that's why you have investment bankers. You don't pay them a lot of money because if they don't bring in value, you don't pay them that much. So that is a silly mistake. I thought I could do it well. The second point is, actually, the investment bankers, they bring two things. One is, they're shameless when it comes to negotiation. Very, very cutthroat and shameless. I'm not. Okay, so there is a problem there. So some of the things which you are reluctant to say, you can get your investment bankers. And they will say, they will need to say also, because that's their business. They want to maximize the deal for you. So there is always a role for specialists, though they take 1 or 2%. But I think they will bring in value of at least 10-20%. So 1 or 2% in the larger scheme of things is not much. So therefore, always good to employ a professional. And second thing is, they bring in an additional layer. See, here when I'm negotiating directly, whatever I say is final. See, the other one, I have some sleeves, cards up my sleeve. I can always, the investment banker has done it, and you can pay the good cop, bad cop, all those things are there. And this, so that's the second mistake I made, not having an investment banker. And I was lax in certain areas. Why? The thing is, it's not the money, but why did I give up that? I didn't have to give up that. So that's the second mistake I made. I'm not having an investment banker by my side. The next thing is deal done. There was a part of the deal which was earnout, which is fairly significant part, which is an earnout, depending on what we do in the next 3 years. And the task was fairly good, very good. I thought if you don't do it, there was no reason for us to exist in this business. All agreed, but what I missed out on, and this happens in a lot of companies with earnout, there is an earnout typically. You negotiate the target and all those things. But what I missed out is that how much are you going to invest into that? So I went with the assumption, there was no assumption. First of all, there was no assumption. I went with the assumption that I will run the company as I can invest as much as I want. So the moment the funds squeeze, things don't go according to your plan. And your targets are not achieved, and you're losing a lot of money. So that's the other big learning. So whenever you are negotiating for an earn-out, guys, it's good to have target. They will say everything, okay, our entire sales team is behind you. It's very different when you start actually operationalizing. It's very different. So while you agree on the target, you have to agree on what is the kind of budget, how is it going to, how much of freedom I will have, and all those things. This is something I missed. Again, if you look back, it's a rookie mistake. Yeah, it's a completely rookie mistake. And now comes to the other part. Is actually one of the most important things when it comes to mergers and it's the culture match of the company. So we met the leadership team. Fantastic guys, all great guys. So we thought of, it's people like us, everything. And we had a great chemistry, we hit off well and all those things. So I thought, yeah, that's something which we are very, very happy about. But actually, there was one thing which we missed. See, as far as our company is concerned, our entire focus was on the team. Okay? So that is what gave us joy. Both my partner and I, we were very, very keen about building a great team, attracting good talent, and building a workspace which they're happy coming into. Okay, so that was our focus. It's not that we paid a lot of money. I mean, we are not one of the highest paid. But when it came to benefits, whether it is parties or health insurance or whatever it is, and getting them to participate in all these things, we created an environment which made people want to come back. There was a lot of learning. They had access to me all the time. So from the junior most person, they could walk up to me or my partner. So what did it do? It killed politics. The thing is, what happened? Basic reason for politics in the company is when people don't have access. Okay? So here it killed all politics because there was pre-meeting conversation with everyone. So I used to sit in Delhi, used to come spend alternate weeks in Bangalore. So whenever I'm in Bangalore, I used to catch hold of 2-3 people and then go for lunch. So I was in touch with everyone. So I knew exactly what was happening. So there was no scope for politics. So people really enjoyed, and there was a learning environment. I used to tell the guys, saying that you have to work only 5-6 hours to do your job. There was not going to be more than that for your job. But I want you to spend the other 5-6 hours investing in yourself. A lot of people use that. Because this is the time, most of them are youngsters. I was very, very concerned about their future. So I said, invest in yourself. This is the best time to learn. And this is a place which is providing you an environment where you can learn. Okay, like for example, a person like my partner, Anand, who has done analytics at the highest level, from a pure technical point, there's no better person to learn than him. And he was accessible. And as far as I am concerned, I was coming from a completely business angle. And for them, I was a completely different angle. I was asking questions which are very, very different. And without knowing any numbers, see, when they're making presentations, I'm always looking at the story. So, and they used to get very excited that I find mistakes, the small mistakes I will find. So they're saying, without knowing the numbers, how can I find the mistakes? Because I'm looking at the story. Okay, so from learning perspective, they had a huge opportunity. And I was telling them, look, use this opportunity to learn. So that is the kind of environment which we created as our team is concerned. But typically at tech company, the focus is more on numbers. It's a headcount. So they don't look at the team the same way. So that was one disappointment and which we overlooked. Okay. So that was it. So So these were the learnings as far as marketing was concerned, my entrepreneurial journey. And well, if you ask me, yeah, these are my learnings, these are the mistakes I made, these are my learnings. I hope there are some learnings for some of you from that. And I think we have. No, that's okay. These are all. Yeah, that's it. That's it. If you have any questions, please ask them. That's fine. Yeah, sure.
My name is Algiers Khalid.
Okay.
I'm the whole refresher of AMA. Excellent talk. And from a person who have great educational background and a cheaper, enviable career in all the brands which you listed out. Fantastic. Especially in this era of highly competitive world of rat race, where people don't want to talk about the mistakes or hide their mistakes. Somebody coming here and saying, listing out all the mistakes and saying there's an opportunity out there, learn from it. Now, my question is, on a hindsight, what do you think? Is it like a Super Mario game where somebody has to pick up all the goodies on the way and energize himself to go and reach the iron when it is hot to hit it, or shoot a Super Mario to shoot it? Or do you think the professionals here, the proverbial word, procrastination is the thief of time? What would you emphasize if you have to do it all over again?
See, very clear, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to run fast. Procrastination, whatever you are doing, is not a good idea. You have to think. Yeah, I'm not saying blindly come to it, but as far as entrepreneurs are concerned, the famous word, stay happy, stay foolish, that is there. But you have to have your, so this morning I was reading someone saying, look, I like to think outside the box. I'm not a conformist. I always like to think go outside and stretch myself. But even within that, the base has to be very clear. There has to be a framework. These are the boundaries I know. Okay, when I am going out of the boundary, I know very clearly I am going out of the boundary. But without knowing the boundary, I do something, no, it doesn't happen. You have to have your base very well covered and then do things. You might go out of that, that's fine, absolutely fine. That's what gives you kick. At least for me, that's what kicks it. If I were to just stay within the boundaries, it doesn't excite me. But I should know I'm getting out. That's what just does.
I'm Abel. I'm pursuing MBA in St. Schools for Korea. And my question is, so what are the challenges you face during the summer talks?
Okay. Good. So though I made a success out of market vision and Zamadogs didn't take off, I'm more proud talking about Zamadogs because it is an original idea. Market vision was early. It was good at that point of time. It was way ahead of its time. But Zamadogs, I thought of it myself, saying that I had a dog. And one of the problems I faced was what to do when we travel. We tried the kennels, it didn't work. So then we left it with a friend of ours and he was very happy. And then thought, why not make a platform? So in that sense, it was an original idea. So that gave me a lot of kicks. But when I researched, I found in the US there were about 82 companies which are doing that. One of them was funded $300 million and all those things. So what happened as far as Amazon? See, actually, it's the code. We started in 2019. So it took off well. It became a very, very popular site for people to leave their dogs. Okay. It was good. It did well enough for VCs to chase me for money. They wanted to put money. And I said, no, I'm not ready yet. Because first time a VC came to me, I was getting a monthly revenue of 30,000 rupees. So I said, I'm not ready. But the second time it was better, but it was still at a pilot stage in the Gurgaon area and slowly moving to Noida. That's the time when they came, but they also wanted to get in early. They saw opportunity. Again, one of the good things of being a successful entrepreneur is that, okay, look, you have the tag of successful entrepreneur, people want to back you. So they still came back to me. And that time also I said, I'm not ready. And by the time I was ready, actually COVID happened. So the whole thing, Zamadog was on the thing that, it's an Airbnb-like platform, where the dog owner could search for hosts, who will keep their dog while they're away. The key inside, there were many kennels, some of them even air conditioned, even with the television, but the dogs are not bothered about whether there was a television or whether there was AC. The most important thing for them is human company. Can I live in a place where I have company? That's what dogs want. All good, but even within Zamba dogs, I'll tell you the mistakes I made. I'll tell you. One is, though there was a lot of interest as far as people wanting to host the dog while we did the survey, intuitively I thought it was a great idea, people would come and do it, and we did the survey also confirmed that. But when we finally got to doing it, finding people who will keep the dogs was very difficult. No, actually finding people was easy, but actually to get them to keep a dog was difficult. So I had a listing of some 500 parents and similar number of 500 hosts and similar number of dog parents. But actually what happened is when it came to the time of hosting, a lot of people had a lot of inconvenience and all those things. So they were willing to host. Actually, the time available for them to host was very, very small. So the supply had to be much bigger. So that's one difficulty which we realized as we started the business. What else? I think that was the biggest challenge as far as Zamba Dogs is concerned. Otherwise, it was a great concept. The bigger business we knew always. We start with this because this is unique. We wanted to move into dog walking, which is a much more regular business. This is only where we had estimated about 15 days a year from a dog parent from hosting. This is a higher revenue. But as far as dog walking is concerned, we wanted to have dog walkers and the dogs with the tag so that people could exactly see how much the dogs have walked, etc., and almost making it become like a Fitbit. That is the whole idea. But anyway.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Tom Joseph. It was a very clear and nice talk listening to you because most of the quite a few mistakes you did, you explained here, even it has come through in my life also. So I know how clear it was. Now, what I like to ask you in a very lighter note is, can you, with a lot of vast experience and analysis, can you forecast the mistakes you're going to do this year or next year? That's one thing.
Actually,
And second thing, I mean, if you like, see, you've been addressing us for almost 15 to 20 or 30 minutes. Looking at faces, I mean, most of us, and many of us may be doing, continuing with the going on some mistakes. Any general mistake, one or two, which you can see on our face.
I don't know about general mistakes, but let me tell you, some of the mistakes, I do a lot of youngsters who come to me for advice, also for years. One mistake all of them make is the same thing. There's no focus. The second thing, especially coming from technology background, the entrepreneurs coming from technology background, they're not very clear about who's their customer. What does their customer want? That's a starting point. Okay. Though we were very clear as to what our customer is, it was very, very easy. But a lot of entrepreneurs miss what their customer want, and therefore create wrong products also. They'll be very excited from a technical standpoint. Oh, this is an awesome product, but the customer, what do they want? You have to be very, very clear about that. So that's a starting point for anything, whether it's an established company, Like for example, if it's a Nestle kind of a company, we do much more sophisticated, need state landscape and all those done and finding, okay, look, suddenly states are not satisfied and therefore what product can fit in there, and et cetera, et cetera. But even for starters, you have to be very, very clear who's your customer and what does he want, what's the gap. The second mistake I find that a lot of youngsters again when they come to the business idea is, especially for e-commerce and all those things, and even for retail and almost every business is the unit economics. They don't have a clue about the finance. Okay, how much does it cost to make, and therefore for each unit I sell, how much money I'm making, or the concept of margin. So that's the most critical thing. Only if I know what is the margin I'm making, I know how much I can invest. So a lot of youngsters, when they come to me with business ideas, they don't have a clue about the margin, or they don't have a clue about the unit economics. So these are the two things which I very, very commonly see. And the third one is the focus, which I also made a mistake.
I wanted to talk. Just wanted to, had a question in my mind. Now, the mistakes from the past is like bias by hindsight bias, right? So have you ever thought to like, probably check whether the KPIs at that point of time against it, you would have made the same mistake again, or was the mistake in actually? I mean, it's very situational, right?
Yeah, yeah. So if you ask me, if you look at the KPIs, probably I had the wrong KPIs. Yeah, actually, the mistakes I made wouldn't have been captured by these KPIs. So these are some of the things you realize, and I was advised, like for example, focus. A lot of people told me you have to focus. I didn't listen to them. I told them I know that. So actually, when you are going to experience people, you have to listen to them. Okay, and I had a wonderful board of advisors, including the chairman and managing director of Nestle during my time. He was on my board. Masha, who was the person who started an group, and all of them told me to go the tech way. so somehow I didn't take it up, and patenting and all those things, I didn't take it up very, very seriously. That's I think it's true with me.
I do it. Initially, you didn't take the money from the invested, full money. Then 2008 crash.
Yeah.
Actually, exactly helped you, right? Two mistakes together, actually,
See, actually, if I had taken more money, if I had more money in the bank, one is, I could have told my partner in the US, okay, you don't have to take 1/3 salary, you can take half the salary. Maybe you'd have done it first. And second is, I could have easily invested in a salesperson in the US. I didn't have to worry about money. Okay, look, here, there was a little bit of tightness. I didn't have to do that. People operate in a tight environment because they have to. I didn't have to.
And the burn rate would have been very high.
Yeah, but unless I,
And then
yeah. So the thing is, as far as burn rate is concerned, I don't consider burning money for sales as burning money. Okay, see, if I have people sitting there doing nothing, that is work. What I didn't do is, I didn't invest in the sales during that time, and that's the time I had to invest. Yeah.
My name is Ashwini.
Yeah.
I was just wondering whether everything which, all of them which you have shared can be called mistakes, or should we call them experiences and taking a decision? Like there are two choices, you take a choice, like whether you want to go for it, whether you want to exit or continue. So my question is, it is always difficult for people to accept mistakes or to realize that I have made a mistake. So what is your message to us? And how do we identify a mistake, or what should we look for so that we don't make the mistake of not identifying a mistake?
Okay. So yeah, I think your question is very valid. Saying that, there were choices. Did I make mistake or did I make the right choice? In some sense, I made the right choice. At the end of the day, I had a successful exit. It was a good company. All those things happened. It's all picked there. But could it have been better? So it was not rank bad mistakes which I made, which the company collapsed or anything like that. No, it was a successful company. It's a good exit. I'm proud of it. There's no doubt about it. And if you look at us, the people, whenever I meet people, the team, they say, thanks for the wonderful time we had. So they're all very, very happy for the time. So that makes me proud actually. So it was, in that sense, it's a choice we made. So, could it have been better? Yes, it could have been better. So another thing which I keep telling everyone, when I studied in college, whether it is engineering or this was school, I just never listened to class. So did it impact my life? I don't think it did impact my life. But when I look back, I think if I listened to the class, I would have enjoyed it. Okay, because I'm that kind of a person. Unfortunately, I didn't listen to the class, but if I had listened to the class, I would have really enjoyed. I would have enjoyed the class discussions and all those things, but I missed that. But did it impact my life? I don't know.
Your President, Mr. A. Balakrishnan, distinguished Chief Guest, Lord K Cherian, Program Committee Chair and Vice President, Harima sir, past presidents and distinguished audience. So one day somebody asked Einstein, is there any person who was done any mistake? He said, yes, there are. Someone who has never tried anything new. And here we have a dreamer, chief dreamer. Chief dreamer was ventured many new things. And like what Mr. Tom echoed, most of us, you gave us thoughts, you took us back to our life. Now you are living in fact, many of the time I was thinking back, I was not listening to you. Because you get the thought process of mistakes. And we need someone with a lot of courage, internal courage and strength to talk like this. So hats off to you, sir. It's really, all of us can list down the 4 articles, the success, failures, mistakes. But somebody coming all the way from Delhi, talking to a new, strange audience, there is always a chance, inclination to talk about the success part. And you need someone, you need internal courage to do that. So thank you for coming and honoring us. And we had a wonderful, great record-breaking convention this year, few weeks back. The star, the hero of the convention, Mr. Bibu Punnuran is our Senior Vice President. I request him to present a memento to our Chief Guest.
Thanks.
After the successful convention, KMA is getting into the mode of recognizing excellence in various fields. You must have received communications regarding the Manager of the Year award. Please contact and nominate your nominations or from your company before 15th of February. And we will be announcing soon, we will be sending you in 1 or 2 days about the CSR awards. The last date is 25th of February. The CSR award, there are 3 awards, KMA CSR Award 2024 in 4 categories: education, health, social inclusion and environment. And the second award is, this is a new award we are instituting this year, KMA ESG Award 2024, this is the newest award. And thirdly, KMA Impactful NGO Award, we are trying to recognize NGO also. So this communication will come to you soon in 1 or 2 days. And we are happy to announce that the entire process of designing the award structure, the jury vetting will be done by XLRI Jamshedpur, and they are the knowledge partner. And this award will be presented on 7th of March in Sustainability Summit, which will be held on 7th of March at Gokulam Convention Center. The information will come to you soon. So hope to see you get maximum responses and entries for both these awards. And let's have there is one more program which will happen this month for policy research, public policy research, and Government of Kerala have requested us to hold a discussion on decriminalization of business laws to get feedback from the entrepreneurial community and business community, which will be held in the last week of February. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you all for coming in large numbers. Yeah, and there are a lot of students are also there in the online. We have our student members. Yeah, sure. We have many student members. Okay. There are many of them are attending over on the online. So we are opening this year onwards. We are opening this to students also via online, so they can attend and listen to all the great speakers. So let's rise for national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you. Yes.
John Joseph.
Yadav. John.